It's about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skill by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix!
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett, and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Ahead of the 2021 African Cup of Nations scheduled to hold in Cameroon, the Super Eagles will formally open their preparation with the opening of their camp in Uyo on the 28th of December 2021. Also, we also have news about Eguavon, the new interim manager of the Super Eagles. Of course, we also have a review of last night's Premier League matches and what to look out for this weekend. Welcome to the show. My name is Afa Acho, and I'm here once again with Fidelis, the man who comes and goes off and comes back again. Fidelis, welcome to the show once again.
Thank you, Alpha. I'm making a return again on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always keep making returns. We hope that will change with time.
We hope so too. Pleasure to have you.
Greetings to all of you sports fans out there.
Yeah. All right, quickly we'll begin with the Super Eagles camp, which is scheduled to open in Uyo on the 28th of December 2021. Fidelis, the camp is officially going to open on 28th of December as the Eagles, begin preparations. This is in spite of, recent reports. The media has been awash with different reports that have been suggesting that the AFCON might be cancelled due to the new variant, the Omicron variant, Corona, and all of that. But in spite of that, the Super Eagles are still going ahead with their preparations. I think it's a nice step to go, not allowing themselves to be distracted.
Yeah, sure. Even if there are reports that the AFCON is going to be cancelled, but there is no official statement on that yet.
Exactly.
So as it stands, the AFCON preparation still continues. And as far as the officials haven't come out to make an announcement that the AFCON has been cancelled, then I think the team has every need to go out there and start their preparations for the competition. Even though later on there is a statement that the competition has been cancelled, but then there is not too much of preparation.
Yeah.
You can continue your preparation because even after it has been cancelled, there are still going to be other tournaments that will come, and the preparation is going to do you more good than time. So I think it's a very good one for the Super Eagles to continue their campaign and their training and their preparation, whatever it is they have to do, because the training actually is not just for a competition. It's for them to be better in their career. So I think it's a good one for them.
And also, the media was also filled with reports of some top European teams who were actually threatening not to release some of their players to participate in this year's AFCON, still because of the Omicron variant of the coronavirus. Do you think if players are not released, like now that camp is about to be opened, do you think that all of our players, especially the Europe-based ones, their teams will actually give them the go-ahead, release them to represent Nigeria at the AFCON coming up in Cameroon?
Well, that's a huge one, because since the virus came, that's one problem we've been facing in sports, actually, because you see a lot of times competitions go on, but some of these, especially the European teams, they don't allow their players to travel. And apart from just the teams making the decisions from, not allowing their players to travel, you could see that some countries now there's been flight restrictions in some countries, and that could also affect. But then every team, I believe most teams that are going for the competition have their own homegrown players.
Sure.
Because there is always you always have to prepare for times like this. whereby the players you so much put your hope on, they are not available for you. You have to prepare for such moments, and that's why you have to grow your home based players. So I think if such a situation happens, there are still people that would go for the competition. So we don't know yet if the teams are going to hold back their players and refuse them from traveling. But until then, let's just hope that it doesn't go out. It doesn't come to be in that manner.
With the also, the appointment of interim coach Austin Ekwavon, a lot of analysts, have said different things. Yes, a lot of people are happy with the sack of Kenneth Rowe, but some persons don't seem too comfortable with the appointment of Austin Ekwavon. Is he the best coach, best Nigerian coach we have at this moment? And do you really think that Ekwavon has what it takes to tinker this thing to a good outing at the AFCON?
Well, that's another question. Even though Ekwavon is one he understands AFCON tournaments a bit. He understand the AFCON tournament.
The last time he led the Eagles, I think they won bronze.
Yeah,
in 2006.
Yes. Was it the bronze? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
bronze.
Yeah. So he's used to the AFCON tournament a bit. So I think, and now that General has been sacked and Ekwavon appointed the interim coach, a lot of people have their own opinion to say Ekwavon is not the best person to have come in that position. But for me, I think looking at what we have now, Ekwavon is a good is a good decision for me. So
but there are coaches likes of people have covered the case for people like Emmanuel Amunike, who we all know his pedigree when it comes to coaching. He was actually qualified Tanzania for their first ever AFCON.
AFCON, yeah.
A country who has now participated. Amunike went there, qualified them. Yes, in the competition proper. Of course, you can make some excuses for him that they don't really have the material, so they didn't really progress far. So people have made a case for him, and in my opinion too, I think Amunike, that's just my opinion, would have been, the right man for this job.
But then, Amunike is a very good coach, of course, a very good coach. But you have to look at it this way. Amunike qualified Tanzania for their first AFCON competition ever. But then you have to consider that this is a Nigerian team, right? So Ekwavon understands the Nigeria team to an extent better than Amunike, who has never coached the Super Eagles team. Maybe for a while. Let me just for a while.
No, because the last time he led, he was the under-17 where they actually won the gold.
So he hasn't coached the senior team. So I think that's why they just had to bring in Ekwavon to take over the position. But then he's just an interim coach. There are still chances that a lot of changes can still be made with time. So you never can tell. Amunike might still come out to be the Super Eagles coach. Nobody's taking that away from him.
All right. Interim head coach Austin Ekwavon will take charge of the team following the sacking of German tactician Kenneth Rowe last Sunday. The Super Eagles, of course, are drawn in Group D of the competition alongside Egypt, Sudan, and Guinea-Bissau. Quickly looking at the Group D, the group will be drawn out: Egypt, Sudan, and Guinea-Bissau. On paper, a lot of football fans will say this is an easy group for Nigeria. Do you think Nigeria, apart from Egypt, do you think any of these teams, Sudan and Guinea-Bissau, will have enough firepower to really trouble the Super Eagles?
The Super Eagles we have now, I think any team can trouble them. Seriously, I think any team can trouble the Super Eagles we have now. Unless, with all of the changes Ekwavon is going to be bringing into the team.
I don't think he'll be bringing any players.
There won't be much,
the same players
that
we've been seeing.
We may just see a little bit of change in tactics, but in terms of player selection, because he's actually picking from the 14-man list, 40-man list Janet represented. So there won't be much changes in the aspect of player selection. We might see little of tactical change and all those things. But then I think any African team can actually stand against the Super Eagles we have at this time.
Really thinks any team, and truly in football these days, even in Africa, there are no longer minnows in football.
Sure.
Yeah. So moving ahead, still on Ekwavon, the Super Eagles, he has come out to say that The Super Eagles, regardless of the time frame left for them to prepare, have what it takes to win the AFCON. Do you share in his sentiment?
Every team going for a competition have what it takes to win the competition. And being specific about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, I think what Nigerians did at this time is not Super Eagles can win. You should be telling us Super Eagles will win the competition. You understand? Because we've actually won it before. You understand? So that alone should give us the edge that okay, now we can start winning it again. So we already know Super Eagles can win the competition. So that's not a very big thing for him to say. He should come out and tell us, okay, we will win it and stand by his word to see that the team actually goes out there to win the competition. Because any team going for a competition has what it takes to win the competition.
Absolutely, but realistically, looking at the Nigerian team critically, and I mean, you saw a couple of the qualifying games we've played. Even though we came tops in that group, but a lot of Nigerians are still not convinced of the kind of displays the Eagles put up. Judging from the quality of football we played under Kenneth Rowe. And like some days ago here with Sally said he doesn't see Eguavon doing anything different tactically too much from Kenneth Rowe in terms of playing style and all of that. Based on what you saw in the qualifiers, do you really think if the Eagles come against, let's say, teams like, let's say, Tunisia, maybe Senegal, for instance, Algeria, do you think the Super Eagles can hold their own and actually defeat those teams?
You know, when you talk about the Super Eagles, one thing I've come to discover about Super Eagles of Nigeria is that, in a competition, now if I want to relate you back to 2012 or 2012 or 2013 when Stevie Keshi won the AFCON. I think that's the last time Nigeria actually won the AFCON competition.
Yeah, 2013.
We started very poor. Right? Started very poor. In fact, at the start, a lot of persons never expected Nigeria to survive the group stage of the competition. But surprisingly, somehow they managed to escape the group stage, and they entered the quarterfinal. From the quarterfinal, the confidence was so high. Everybody got behind the team, and we're like, go out there and win it, go out there and win it. And the team picked the confidence and the support from the fans, and you could see they actually went on to win. So even though the Super Eagles team we have now may not be as good and as solid like what we used to know the Super Eagles to be, but then as the competition progresses, just like Egbabon said, they should just go out there and take it game after game, one game at a time, and there is always room for improvement. After each game, make sure you improve on the next game, and then they can go out there to win. We can't take that winning part from them.
Absolutely. But in your own opinion, what for you will you say is a successful campaign, even if the Eagles don't win? What do you expect to see there for you to say this is a successful campaign? Some people have said if the Eagles don't win it, as long as they're concerned, it's not a successful tournament. But some Nigerians have shared a different opinion. Some have said if they make it to the finals, even if they don't win, it might turn a successful competition. Some have said semi-final. Some others have said we've won the bronze too much. I think no African country has won bronze at the AFCON more than Nigeria. So for you, is it a do or die? Is it a win or bust situation?
For me, it's nothing. I need nothing less than a win from the Super Eagles. If you are talking about just any other African team, a team that hasn't gone to the AFCON or a team that is new to the AFCON, let's say this is their second time or the third time in the AFCON competition, that's when you could say, okay, a semi-final spot will do, a quarter-final spot will do. I'll just get to the final, even though you don't win. If you pick the silver medal, then you are good. No. But we are talking about the Super Eagles here. Remember, there was a time Super Eagles was number 1 in Africa.
Absolutely.
You understand? I think number 3rd in the world then.
But that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. So you see, the team seems to be retrogressing a bit. But then we are not going to take that from them. It's nothing less than a win. Bring home the trophy. Bring home the trophy. If you pick the second position, is it an alien that will pick the first position? It's still a team that just like you. So you are not less than any of these teams. As a matter of fact, you have better record than them when you talk about African football. So I think nothing less than the win from Super Eagles.
Bring back the trophy. That is what Fidelis is saying today. We still have so much more in store for you. Canada is still in the news, of course. Ajayi's contract has been terminated by Egyptian giants Al Ali. Of course, we have results from last night's Premier League matches and a preview of what to expect this weekend. That and many more we have for you when we come back from this short break. Don't go nowhere.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome back to Sports Orbit, reaching you live from the Leadership Podcast Studio. Egyptian Premier League club Al Ali have terminated the contract of Nigerian forward Junior Ajayi. Ajayi fell down the pecking order at the club following the arrival of South African forward Percy Tau and has failed to make a single appearance for Al Ali. When Junior Ajayi went to Al Ali, from the Nigerian league here, there were a lot of high expectations for him. He was a big player in the Nigerian league here. But going over to Al Ali, the kind of form that he had that made Al Ali even show interest in him. He hasn't been able to replicate that form. And Al Ali, have lost complete patience with him and decided to, instead of just keeping him on the bench and paying him his wages, just terminate his contract and let him move on.
Well, it's not really a nice one for Ajayi over there. Definitely, not every move is gonna be a successful one for everyone, And this is just one of those moves for Ajayi, moving from Nigeria down to what's the name of the team again? Al Ali. Al Ali. So, but then, now that they terminated the contract, you just have to move on, look for other teams. But my concern would be because the termination of this contract is really going to affect his career.
Definitely.
Because now the question in his mind is going to be, what will be the next move? Where do I go next? And any team that's going to pick him from now, imagine you picking a player that is just
Is a
contract
for poor performance,
for poor
because
performance.
he was injured or anything like that. For
You
poor performance.
understand? So his value definitely is going to drop drastically. You understand? And then picking up the confidence again to perform is going to be another thing. But then I would just advise him. These are some of the trying times in a career, Yeah, sure. You never can tell. Something better might come out tomorrow. But then it's his career. He should keep on with it and hope something better comes out.
It's funny that during his stay in Cairo, he actually made a total of 161 appearances, won 11 trophies, including 4 Egyptian Premier Leagues, 2 Egypt Cups, 2 Egyptian Super Cups, 2 CAF Champions League, and the CAF Super Cup. So for him, I think it was a fruitful time out there, considering the number of big and important trophies he picked up.
Yeah, but I think the only pain there is just the determination of his contract due to his decline in form. That's just the problem there, because any team coming for him now, just try to, it will be coming like, okay, they are trying to do you a favor. You understand?
Yeah.
Because they know at this point he has no team, So he will be desperate to just get into anything and start. So they'll be coming at him with some peanuts, offer, and all those things. But then it happens. He should just get himself together.
Exactly. Yeah, from of course, Junior Jay will move on to the Belgian league where Paul Onuachu has finally ended his goal drought. As getting called their winners run. Paul Onuachu ended his goal drought as he helped struggling game beat Sporting Charleroi in the Belgian Super League last night. Onuachu's the last time Onuachu scored was in Genk 6-2 win at the Zuta, where although this is 11 goals in 17 league appearances for Genk so far, Onuachu was firing on all cylinders, especially last season, to the point that he was the highest goal scorer, was also named the player of the year in the Belgian league. But come this season, the kind of form that we saw him put up last season, he hasn't been able to replicate this form.
Well, I can remember when Onuachu was, like you said, was firing all cylinders, and in fact, all eyes were on him at that time. He was making the news steady. Onuachu. But it's so unfortunate now that he couldn't score. But then I was just saying, it's just one of those things. It happens. Who would believe that Lionel Messi we had just one goal in the league, almost 10 appearances in the French league. There are times like that where the goal, not that you're not trying, you're trying, but the goal just seems not to be coming. You understand? But then, thank God he has finally broken the drought now, and I hope he continues from there and continue to score more goals for his team. And it's very important that the goal that broke the drought, is actually a very important goal
because they've also been on a winless run.
Yes, it gave them a win at the end. So it's not a bad way to break the drought.
Absolutely. We'll go straight to EPL results from last night. Of course, there were breathtaking matches in the English Premier League last night, and of course, we saw Chelsea play Everton last night, and it ended 1-1. And of course, a lot of fans have been saying, "At Chelsea on a decline." We all know how they started the season, like a house on fire, topping the league and all of that. Then at the point, it was like Chelsea were unstoppable. But since the game after United, Chelsea has been unable to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, sure.
And Man City currently lead the table with 4 points. And like a lot of people keep saying, once City tops the league, it's a different ballgame altogether.
Yeah.
Do you think Chelsea are beginning to get some diminishing returns? What do you think will be this? Because it hasn't been going as expected. And of course, Liverpool were 3-1 winners over Newcastle last night. Of course, there were 2 games last night. So, of course, it was expected that Liverpool were going to win that one. But the Chelsea-Everton, I knew it was going to be difficult. But did you actually expect Everton to hold Chelsea to a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge?
Well, first of all, you have to give kudos to Chelsea. A team that everyone expected was going down. All of a sudden, Tuchel came out from nowhere to the team to Champions League, won the Champions League. And after they won the Champions League, won the Super Cup, at the beginning of the season, everyone thought, okay, the league has started now. They are going to be nowhere the top 5 at the start of the season. But then they still kept top 5, maintained top 4. Just like that, even up till now, they are still in the top 5 position. They've not been doing so badly, but of recent, it seems they have been, losing, conceding goals, draw a bit, and that's not so good for the team. But all the time, all right? You can't just win all the time. While you are preparing, other teams are also preparing. Why you want to win, other teams have to win. Don't forget that it's a game of 11-11, all right? So, no one expected Everton to be able to get a point out of that match. But in the end, they showed their determination with that goal that came, I think, at the 74th minute.
Yeah.
Right, because Chelsea was actually leading 1-0, and the goal came at the 74th minute from Braithwaite, who got the goal for them. And from there, no other goal into the
I think Everton did well to actually contain the Chelsea side because
they did so well.
because Chelsea actually dominated, especially in the first half. But after that goal came, it looked like Everton grew in confidence and were able to, keep the scoreline at 1-1 until the end of 90 minutes.
And don't forget that Everton has an experienced coach. Their coach is a very experienced one. So I'm not so surprised that they got a draw. Maybe I would even say Chelsea were lucky that they didn't lose that game.
All right, we'll go over to this week's action where it will be United versus Brighton and Hove. Of course, we're hearing rumors of some games that have been postponed. I don't know if this is one of them, but United will be in action at home at Old Trafford against Brighton and Hove. Aston Villa, of course, seems to be resurgent under Steven Gerrard, will be at home to Burnley. Southampton will be at home also to Brentford. Crystal Palace, with Patrick Vieira in charge, they seem to be doing not too badly. Will travel all the way to Watford, where, of course, Emmanuel Dennis has been, in good form. Then, of course, Norwich will travel all the way to West Ham. Of course, we all know that West Ham, after going on a fine run, eventually lost that crucial London derby to Arsenal 2-0. A lot of people didn't expect Arsenal to triumph in that one, but they did. Of course, Arsenal also has a tough test against Leeds United. Not forgetting that Leeds were whitewashed 7-0 by Man City during the midweek games.
But then these teams they can pull up surprises.
Absolutely, I agree. And of course, Everton also face a tough one with Leicester City, with, of course, Kelechi Iheanacho and Wilfred Ndidi will be in that one. Newcastle will be at home to Man City, current league leaders. Then Chelsea also faces another tough test at the Molineux when they meet Wolves. Then, of course, Tottenham versus Liverpool, Conte versus Klopp. Looking at these games, which game is your pick for the weekend?
It's definitely going to be Tottenham against Liverpool, because Klopp will have to show his tactics in that game. Sorry, I said Conte will have to show his tactics. I think this should be one of the biggest tests.
Yeah.
Since he became
the biggest, actually.
Yeah, the Tottenham manager. This will be one of the biggest tests, and I'm sure the club will expect him to prove himself with this match. And club too, and of course now that Salah is, I don't just know what kind of form he's in. He is in now.
Absolutely.
He seems to be scoring goals, creating assists,
for fun.
He's playing so well at this point in his career. So it will be a very tough match for Tottenham, and as well, I have to put it clearly, I don't see Tottenham surviving that match, even though they
But Conte can be a very defensive coach sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
So do you think the kind of tactics and strategies he might come up in that match might actually curtail Liverpool from, going haywire, scoring goals for fun and all of that?
That's one problem. Just like Barcelona, when Barcelona was Barcelona that we knew, you could try to form a defensive formation, but then the problem would be holding them for 90 minutes. That is another thing. And with the way Liverpool is playing at this time, for you to hold them for 90 minutes without scoring, that's another ball game entirely. And I don't see any tactics that Conte can actually bring up that will be able to hold the Liverpool front three from scoring against some Tottenham.
All right, Fidelis, we'll look up to all these matches during the weekend, and of course on Monday we'll come back here, give you a review of all the action that went down during the weekend in the EPL, and of course the Nigerian Professional Football League also will be up and running, finally. So on Monday we'll give you results of what went down also during the weekend. Fidelis, it's nice having you here once again, and nice talking sports with you.
My pleasure.
All right, viewers out there, this is where we slam the brakes on today's episode of Sports Orbit. Incidentally, this is the last one for the week until we come your way again next week Monday with another exciting, wonderful and fresh episode of Sports Orbit. Stay safe out there and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.